In this lesson, you're going to code a simple quiz. We'll use inputs to ask questions. We'll be checking the answers are correct using if and else code. And finally, we'll add a score variable to count up the number of correct responses. Opening up the idle window, and I'm going to put this shell on the right hand side and start a new file to make my quiz. Now I've decided to make my quiz about capital cities. You could do it about whatever you want to, but well, I'm just going to use capital cities for my example. So what we need to do is first of all say we've got a variable called answer, and in our answer variable we're going to store an input, and the input is basically going to be the question for our first part of the quiz. So I'm going to say, what is the capital of France? Question mark. I'll leave a space after that because when we run this code in the shell, you're going to have to be typing the answer right next to that. So we're going to put it in like that. And just to show you what that will do, let's just save that. I'm going to put it in my Python course folder, and I'm just going to call this quiz.py. And if we run that now, you'll see that it says what's the capital of France. And if I just move it over a tiny bit, you'll see why I've left that space there. So I write my answer in here, and then so far we've done nothing with the answer. So what we need to do now is actually get Python to check if that answer is correct or not. So I'm going to say if answer equals, remember we're using a double equal sign here because we're dealing with comparison or equivalence. Here we're just doing an assignment, so we need two equal signs here, but two here, one there. So if answer equals, and then I'm going to do my double quotes, Paris, and what I'm going to actually do is do a capital P for that one, colon, print correct. And let's just try that to start with. So I'm going to save that, run my code, and if I type in Paris with a capital P, it says correct. One of the problems we've got is if we run it again and I type in Paris in all capitals, for example, it doesn't know that's the same, because basically this kind of comparison in Python is what we'd call case sensitive. So we're going to have to fix that by doing something a bit cleverer. So what we're going to do is do answer.lower and brackets, and that will basically take whatever has been typed in and turn it into lowercase. And now if we run that, any way we type Paris, it will understand as being that Paris with lowercase because it's converted our answer to lowercase. So we need to deal with what happens if you get the answer wrong now. So we're going to do else colon, and if it's wrong, we're just going to write wrong, it was Paris, full stop. And I probably should maybe put something like a comma or an apostrophe there. I'm just going to save that with Control S and run it one more time. And this time if we type the wrong answer, it says wrong, it was Paris. So that's working for one question. I'm just going to show you how you can put a second question in. And the quickest way of doing that, as this code all works, will be to highlight those lines and maybe a blank line as well. Control C, click into some new space. If there is no new space, just press enter and then do Control V, and then we've got the question coming up again. And this time we can just edit the question and change it to the correct answer for the new question. Now there are better ways of doing this using things like lists, which when you know more about coding might be worth looking at, but as a good way of just practicing using if and else, this is a very simple way of structuring it. So I would leave a gap between these two. It's not going to make any difference to what we see over here, but it just makes it a bit easier to look at the code. So we'll save that again and run it. And this time I've got what's the capital of France? Paris. What's the capital of Italy? I'll type it with different cases to check, and that's working fine. So I'm going to do one more. And this one I'm just going to do what's the capital of Spain? And we need to put in the answer here, Madrid. And I've just realised I made a mistake here, didn't I? What's the capital of Italy? If you get it wrong, it says it was Italy. That should say Rome. And if you get this one wrong, it should say it was Madrid. And remember, The answers we need to write in here need to be in lowercase because we've converted the whole of what the answer that was given by the person using the quiz, the user, has been converted to lowercase. So let's just check these. What's the capital of France? Paris. Let's get this one wrong just to confuse it. There we go, that's working fine. And if we put Madrid here, we should get that one correct. Good. So have a go at doing that. In the next video, we're going to look at ways we can add score to it, but just try doing that. Maybe do a couple of questions using copy and paste and check that works okay on your computer.